Let's start from the beginning. Why are you riding your bike from your district in Kalamazoo County all the way out to Lansing today, the State Capitol?
That's a very good question, why anybody would want to do this. Well, it's a good thing for people to be physically active. This is a key to being healthy. There are two things you can do to keep yourself healthy. You should smoke less or quit smoking if you smoke. The second, though, is to exercise more, and this has a huge effect on your overall health. You feel better, you have more energy, and you're less likely to get heart disease or have a stroke later in life. So it's a key thing, and in Michigan we know we exercise less compared to people in other states. And this cost us, if you look at healthcare costs and our early mortality in Michigan, it has an effect on our population. We know that from studies and from comparing death rates in Michigan to other states. And there's a huge cost to our economy. We pay for that because if you have a stroke or heart attack early in life, you get care, and that's expensive. So by being physically fit and physically active, we can help mitigate that. And it's a key thing that we can do without requiring a change in the state budget. I mean, it's a personal, behavior issue. And so what I'm trying to do is set an example. I'm an average person. I'm not an athlete, but if I can get on my bike and ride 75 miles to Lansing, then anybody else can. There's nothing special about me getting out here and doing it. It can be fun when you go with friends, and if you pick a day with nice weather.
I noticed you brought your son Matt along today, and he was telling me you guys go on bike trips all the time. How important is it for a parent to set that early foundation for a healthy lifestyle?
Well, it's important to try and establish these habits early. And it's great having a teenager that you can do something with, that you can both enjoy. And now, he's old enough, he's a strong rider and probably a better rider than I am. But by, whether it's riding or whether it's kite flying or swimming or taking your kids, to the beach or walk, all of those things imprint in them how important physical activity is, and if it's a pleasurable activity, that's something that they then learn and will carry on through their life. And it links also to education in schools. What parents do dovetails with what kids should be learning in schools. And in Michigan, the other thing I'm pushing for is mandated phys and health ed in K through 8. We don't have that in Michigan, so it's what people do at home. It's also what kids learn at school.
Going from home back into the workplace, as we were riding, you'd mentioned to me, we were talking about what it might take to bring some jobs back to Michigan. You said one thing that's going to help is to keep healthcare costs down. And how do you go about helping employers and helping employees sort of make some of the shift? Traditionally, maybe there's been an emphasis on my employer, my insurance should be taking care of me, moving some of that responsibility to the individual.
There's a couple things that Michigan can do, despite our budget woes, that involves changing our culture and our mindset that will help make us an attractive place for job providers. One is taking better care of ourselves. That lowers healthcare costs. That's a factor, when a business is looking on where to settle. And let's face it, in Michigan, we are in a state where traditionally unions have bargained for the right to smoke at work, and then bargained for a card, an insurance card, to cover everything.
Right.
And that is a mindset that we can't afford anymore. We have to have a people that understand that health isn't just inside a card that somebody gives you, that it's a partnership, that you have a responsibility, but that you also having coverage is important. Both are important. But if we could change that thinking, that culture in Michigan, that would go a long way to making us a more attractive state to do business in.
And something else that's different from this year than from last year is, between now and then, you have announced that you are going to be running for governor. You're going to be looking for the nomination. And we talked also a little bit earlier today about how the Republican Party is maybe in need of some fresh ideas, some fresh faces. What do you bring to that?
Well, it's true. I am one of the candidates for governor for 2010. Governor Granholm's term limited, so we're going to get somebody new. The election will be next year.
Right.
And there'll be a primary, at least a Republican primary, maybe a Democratic primary as well. And that's because there's no clear front runner on the Republican side. Our party is reassessing. We took a licking, last fall. And it's time for new faces, people with new ideas, to step forward, and it's an opportunity for the party to reassess. And what I bring is because I'm a physician and I still see patients, I still work part-time outside of the legislature, that brings a little different background into play. I'm also the only Republican that's currently serving in the state legislature. And recall that both governors Milliken and Engler came from the state senate. It's one of the things that made them effective. It's one of the shortcomings of Governor Granholm. She came, from another office. She was Attorney General, which is, that is a different set of skills. But I think what Michigan needs now, if you're going to fix Michigan, it does take legislative action, and so having a governor with a legislative background would be a benefit. The downside is I'm from Kalamazoo, which is a beautiful place, but traditionally it's not a good place to run from for statewide office. We've had one governor from Kalamazoo, and that was well over 100 years ago, Sean. But with so many people running and the party searching for new faces and new ideas, somebody with a little different perspective, I think I'll be a strong candidate.
The governor from Kalamazoo, his statue is up there at the State Building, because you always point him out, I think, when we ride up there.
Well, that's
the big historian.
That's Austin Blair's statue in front.
Okay.
The governor from Kalamazoo is Epaphroditus Ransom. He doesn't have a statue. There's a tree with a plaque. Yes, he needs one.
A tree.
There's a tree with a plaque. And in fact, he's a very interesting character. He was a Democrat. He served in the 1840s. He was the first governor to serve in Lansing. The capital had been moved from Detroit to Lansing, and one of the interesting things that he did, he was at a time when there was a mental health movement, a movement to create asylums for the mentally ill. That's why we have the Kalamazoo Regional Psychiatric Facility in Kalamazoo. It was Epaphroditus Ransom from Kalamazoo who advocated where it was built.
All right, and we'll close out on one off-the-wall topic here. What happened to your Michigan Wolverines last year? 3-9. What are we going to do this year?
Give me a break. No,
you think Rich Rodriguez, he's got to turn it around, or he might be done soon?
No, I think he's got a little time, and they'll be better. It's not all about sports. They'll be fine.
Oh,
be fine.
You got a family feud in your house too, don't you? You've got who's in Michigan State now?
I have my middle child is a Spartan. She
Do we not speak her name?
Green and white. Yeah, it's Maria. We can speak her name rarely. The rest of us are maize and blue.
All right.
And I'm going to be a Bronco this summer. I'm taking a class as a guest student.
Are you?
Yeah, to finish my undergraduate degree. I'm a couple credits short.
Wait, hang on a second. You don't have you're short on your undergraduate degree, but you're a doctor. So doesn't the other ones have to sort of be built upon the?
You'd think most people that go to medical school have an undergraduate degree. They go 4 years,
right.
But I went 3, and you could get in without necessarily having a degree, which I did, and I'm just a few credits short. So I'm going to be a guest Bronco. I've made arrangements to take a class as a guest student, and I'm hoping to complete my undergraduate degree. Now, I don't need it, but again, I don't need to ride to Lansing either, but I'm doing it. And this is part
like Shaquille O'Neal, you're going back.
I'm going back, and it's important to go to school and to finish things that you start.
Oh,
like your degree.
Life lesson, learning moment. All right, thanks very much.
Thanks for joining me, Sean.
Glad
you're here again.
We'll see if we make it for number 4.
That'd be great.